Hey, and welcome to the Meditations and Musings podcast. I'm Elena Lipson. I'm a mama, I'm a wife, and I'm the founder of the Divine SelfCare Circle membership and the Virtual Retreat Academy. I don't believe that you have to sacrifice your body, your health, or your family in order to create true abundance and prosperity. I believe in living based on the divine feminine metrics of success, and these include pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. Each week, I'll bring you 1 to 2 new episodes. One of these will be a guided meditation that you don't have to do on the meditation pillow, and the other will be a conversation to help you access your inner wisdom, to ignite abundance, and inspire others to do the same. I invite you to join me on this journey back to the magic of a divinely aligned and well cared for you. And now, join me for today's episode.
Good morning. This is Elena Lipson, your Divine Self-Care mentor and self-care coach. I am coming to you from a little bit of a different location today. So let me first start by saying you might hear a dog barking. You might hear a fan going in the room. There's definitely noises, but it's because I am not home. I'm actually on a travel, 2 weeks of travel right now with my family, visiting my sister in Southern California, where I used to live. And we're in a household of like everyone. My entire family's here. So I still wanted to come to you today and share a couple of messages. One that when I went to sleep last night, I asked myself, okay, what do I need to know most, and what do I need to share most with you? And it was really clear. I actually woke up in the middle of the night with a very clear 2 words, and the 2 words were more love, more love. It's like I woke up, and then of course the notes from the universe this morning, which I received from Mike Dooley. If you don't receive those, they're so awesome. I'll read the note to you as well from today, just so you have a sense of, if I can remember, if I didn't delete it, I'm sure I could find it. But I wanted to just share that with you. At first, I was a little bit confused because I thought, more love. People don't need to hear that. Like, they already get it. And then I realized actually that is what I've been working on with my own family because, hey, I'm definitely a very grounded, conscious, aware person. And yet, just like you and everyone else, we have our own stuff when it comes to relationships, right? We have these roles that we've played all of our lives. And so when I find myself in a household of my mother and my sister and my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew and my son and my husband, I am sort of disintegrating, right? Meaning I'm playing all these roles at the same time. And unless I'm feeling aligned, present, integrated, and loved by myself, and love for others, it can be very easy for me to slip into old patterns and roles. Now, it's less and less so these days. It's been a while since I've had any sort of like really negative behavior that I'm not proud of, but it does happen, even though I'm a coach and I'm really aware. And I've been reading the 4 agreements, to not take things personally and don't assume and always do your best for a long time. But I'm human. So the message for me and for you is, when in doubt, choose more love. Choose more love. And it's really fascinating because our next topic in the Divine Self-Care Circle, which is open for enrollment right now, which is my membership program for self-care practices and rituals and community. You can check out the link in the bio, is where we really dive into some of these powerful topics that help you to really peel back those layers of the onion, if you will, which I don't like onion, but peel back those layers of social conditioning, parental conditioning, cultural conditioning, family conditioning, and really to help you to be the woman that you want to be, to speak your desires in a way that is grounded and strong, and to really be able to love more, and so that you can do the work that you're here to do. And I know even, I have this thing where I hear people talking about love as the answer. I get a little bit flinchy, like, really, just love? But the more I live and the more I parent my growing son, and the more I'm in this relationship with my husband for almost 20 years now, and the more I have growing relationships with friendships and my family, and as they grow, I do realize that if I am in a place where I can really love who I am, then I can show up to other people accepting who they are in a much more profound way, especially when they are not acting or behaving the way you think they should, right? We know that. We have that, right? So I want to share with you today 5 ways to choose more love and why it's so important to choose love for yourself, for others, and for the situation that you're in. So as I was mentioning, next month or next topic in the Divine Self-Care Circle, my self-care membership program, we are diving into this idea of, well, it's inner and outer beauty, but it's all fueled by self-love, and why you would take time to really give to yourself. Give yourself the time, give yourself the space, give yourself time to move your body, be in nature, honor your thoughts, reflect on your thoughts, all the self-care that we teach throughout the year in the self-care membership circle. So if you're interested in exploring more extended support, please check out the link in the bio. Membership is open right now with some really cool bonuses like the Dream Calendar Workshop, the 66 Sacred Rituals, Mystic Magic School, and the sisterhood that comes with it is phenomenal. So, and I always keep throwing bonuses throughout the year as well, because I just adore the Divine Self-Care Circle ladies. And that's where I spend most of my time and give so much love to you in there. So if you're drawn to a community and want more support around self-care, please go ahead and join that. For now, let's dive into the topic for today. I want to give you 5 ways to choose more love for yourself, for others, and for the situation that you're in. So this is the note from the universe. I did find it. And this is from Mike Dooley. And if you want to check out more of his notes, this is one of the things that I actually use as a daily practice as well. Part of my daily practice, of course, if you know me at all, you know that magic mornings are my jam. And I've been teaching it for 5 years now. I just ran a really cool challenge. But this is part of what I do as part of my morning. So you can find it at tut.com, tut.com. This is what he says today. There are really only 2 types of people, those you now love and those you will love. That's what life's for, the universe. And this is what I read after I woke up this morning. And remember, the dream I said I had last night was the big message that came through was more love. And you can apply it to any situation. If you're going into something that you're worried about, not feeling confident about, how can you add more love to yourself, to the situation, and to others? Because that's really what it's all about, right? So I want to give you 5 ways, 5 tools, 5 ways to think about how to choose more love for yourself, for others, and the situation. Number 1 is really about a mindset. Whenever you're hitting a resistance point, or you're having some friction with someone else, number 1 is choose to give a benefit of the doubt. Choose to give this person the benefit of the doubt, meaning don't rush in and feel like you know what's happening. Leave room for mystery. Leave room for curiosity. Instead of just rushing in and feeling like you know what's going on, you know what they're thinking, you know why they did what they're doing. And this even applies to yourself. Be curious. Start with, I wonder why this person did that. Or I wonder why I did that. And maybe take some time to either journal about it, speak to a trusted friend or mentor, and really take a time out to not just assume and just rush into it, but really give the person, and even yourself, if you did something you're not proud of, wonder why you did that. Because maybe you were reacting to something that you just weren't being conscious or present. Maybe you were really feeling something that you needed to react to. So just choose to give the benefit of the doubt by giving yourself space, curiosity, and wonder. And that leads right to number 2 is, don't make any assumptions. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the whole story. Even with yourself sometimes. Sometimes you've been so busy that you're just reacting, and now you're feeling guilty and bad about yourself for maybe yelling at your kid or acting rudely, and you're just going, really being mean to yourself and saying, how could I do that? I'm so this, I'm so that. But instead, give yourself or whoever the other person is a space, again, to not make any assumptions. And if you are going to make any assumptions, especially when it comes to your children or your loved ones, make one assumption. Really expect positive intent. Assume positive intent. Excuse me. If you can assume positive intent, then when you start interacting with the person and trying to figure out what happened, you are going to come from a much more loving place. So that's number 2. Number 3 is one that I've learned for, many years now. It's called speak the unspokens. Unspoken truths, unspoken feelings, unspoken emotions between you, even yourself, but those you love, creates a wedge. It creates a wall. It puts up a fence. When you don't say what you want to say, then you start feeling a disconnection from the person. You start feeling like not only you start feeling disconnected, you start acting disconnected. Maybe when the phone rings, you won't pick it up. Maybe you start turning that little bit of unspoken truth into a bigger thing than it really needed to be because you just never said it. And it could be as simple as saying, this is hard to say, but I really felt hurt when you didn't call me last night, or when you didn't return my text. I felt maybe like you didn't really want to talk to me anymore, or when you didn't offer to make me dinner last night, or get me some tea and I wasn't feeling well. I feel like you don't really get in touch with me and when I'm not feeling good, right? Just little things like that. It could be bigger for sure, but the more you can get used to saying the little things that might be difficult to say at first, the easier it will to say it later. And again, it could be as simple as like we were riding in the car with my husband the other day, and we were giving my nephew a gift. And he said, well, how about we give him this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's okay. And then all of a sudden I thought in my mind, I'm like, actually, I wanted to give him more. Like, that's what I was thinking. And then I had this choice in the moment to say nothing and to keep going and to feel irritation and let that build. But I actually said, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? He's going to say no. I'm going to say yes. We're going to talk about it, right? So I said, actually, I think we should give him double. What you think? He's like, okay. So in my mind, I could have made it to be a lot more than it was and not said anything and then felt resentful, right? But I actually said it, even though it was uncomfortable. And for him, he's like, okay, like he just didn't know, right? A lot of times people don't even know what you are not saying. You're assuming that they do. So that's number 3, speak the unspokens. Number 4 is a very powerful one. This is one that, of course, ties into everything I teach, is take care of your own needs. If you are not taking care of your own needs, meaning not just the physical needs, hydration, rest, movement, play, whatever you need, and you're not taking care of them in order to meet somebody else's needs, or you're not taking care of them and you're blaming somebody else for not having the time and space to take care of your own needs, then you're in a place of giving away your power to the max degree, right? Now, this is different from having a baby, right? Because babies will just take and take and take, and that's what they're there for. They're there to be taken care of. But even within that, you can still find ways to take care of your own needs. Now, I can remember the days when my son was little and I barely had time for a shower. I do remember that. But I still, if I made it like an option to take a shower when I really needed it, and not told my husband, like, here's a baby, I need to take a shower, or maybe even called a friend over or your mother-in-law or whoever and say, look, I need like half an hour. Can you come and just hang out with the baby? Instead of feeling like, oh, they don't have time, they're too busy. And I can remember very clearly in my first year of the Divine Self-Care Circle, there was a woman who actually had the baby in the circle, like while she joined the circle. So it was like, I called her our first divine baby. And she was sharing a story that she really, really needed to take a shower in the morning, but she basically was like telling her husband, like, hey, I need a shower. And his response was, I got to go, I'm late for work, which he was. And she was really complaining, like, he doesn't really understand. I feel so, alone. And I said, okay, well, why don't we try something different? Instead of asking him, hey, can you can you be with the kid so I can go take a shower? I said, instead of asking him, you need to tell him, say, I need a shower. You need to stay with the baby, or I need to take a shower. Here's the baby for a few minutes. I'll be back in 10 minutes, and she tried it differently. She tried it with a different energy. Instead of asking, she just told him what she needed. And he was like, okay, it's very easy, right? Sometimes we make up an entire story in our minds about what the other person's going to say. So this is a very easy way to shift into, instead of asking, telling the person what you need, but first and foremost, taking care of your own needs first so you are filled up. Okay, that was number 4. And number 5 is love yourself more. Right? And I can tell you how to do this, but what I would suggest for this one is just ask yourself, how can I love myself more? How can I love myself more? And maybe it's just a matter of really sitting down with yourself and thinking about it. What do I want? What do I need? How can I love myself more? Is it about finding more playfulness? Is it about finding time to go and just sit in a coffee shop with a good book? Because that's what you really used to love doing. What if you just decided that you were going to create one day a month to do that, or one day a week to just, do something that you just love? What if you decided to pick up a creative habit that you used to have before because it really made you happy? What if you put your happiness back on the table as a priority, right? Because when you are filled up with love, when you are filled up with self-care, the way you show up to everyone else in your life is going to feel totally different. You will be slower to criticize, slower to insult, slower to choose a negative assumption, slower to be harsh, right? We can do that as women. We are powerful and we are scary. When we are unfulfilled and we are feeling unloved and we are feeling sad and angry, we can be really harsh to each other, to ourselves especially, and to those we love. So the more we can really choose to love ourselves more, the more you can show up to those you love with kindness, compassion, curiosity, listening, and your full, entire magical presence. So let me go over those 5 ways to choose more love again. Number 1 is choose to give the benefit of the doubt. Number 2, don't make any assumptions except for one positive intent. Positive intent. Number 3 is speak the unspokens. Number 4 is take care of your own needs. Number 5 is love yourself more. And those are the 5 ways you can, when in doubt, 5 ways to choose more love. I hope you've gotten some good wisdom out of this. I'm about to go to a Pilates class with my sister because that is love for me, my body, and my sister time. I'm going to be traveling for the next couple weeks, so the next episode will be from the road as well. So again, I apologize if the sound quality is not normally as it is normally, but I wanted to make sure I connected with you today and give you that message that I received in my dream time, because I know that you need to hear it as well. And please excuse any noises in the background. Sending you so much love. I hope to see you in the Divine Self-Care Circle. Again, go ahead to the link in the profile in the bio and check it out. And as always, take a screenshot of this podcast and find me on Instagram, Elena_Lipson, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feedback. I can't wait to hear from you, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Divine Self-Care Meditations and Musings podcast. Take care.
Thank you so much for listening and learning about the new Divine Self-Care way of being in your life, business, and the bedroom based on the divine feminine metrics of success: pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. If you're ready to bust the myth of overwhelm and tap into an inspired start to each day, I've put together a free video series for you to help you start each day with energy, inspiration, and ignite that inner pilot light which attracts joy, magic, and synchronicity. You can access my 3-step magic morning practice to help you ignite your inner light and attract the abundance that you're craving. Head on over to elenalipson.com/gift. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would so love if you share it with a friend, a sister, a mother, a daughter, and please leave a review. That is how the magic starts to ripple out. Here's wishing you a day full of beauty, magic, and divine self-care. I'll see you next time at the Meditations and Musings podcast.